Welcome to the Stress Less, Live More podcast. I'm Baz.
And I'm Loz. And today we're going to ask the question, is boredom causing you to be burnt out within your business? Because it's a really interesting, I always say it's a really interesting topic, but it is an interesting topic because today we're going to be talking about the difference between Boreout and Rustout.
And how it affects you with burnout, right?
Yes, absolutely. Because here's the thing, you could be what we would term drowning in tasks that just aren't fulfilling you, right? Or you could be very underskilled. And what you might end up doing is working harder and working more and piling on more work. And then that can obviously lead to burnout. But that isn't the root cause of what's going on. Hence, today, we're really going to break down Boreout and Rustout for you.
I think it's interesting because when we talk about burnout, we always talk about being overstressed, overstimulated. But the symptoms of being bored out or having rust out can be very similar to feeling burnt out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to really just delve into this today because it is actually becoming more trendy, these terms. And I've heard people talking about it on LinkedIn a little bit. And I think it's really important that we start to actually, ask what this actually is. Because I've even spoken to a lot of people, a lot of business owners, and also people who are transitioning from being in kind of corporate roles and then coming into a business that are actually experiencing this. And the other thing that I would love to cover today, Baz, if it's all right with you, is
I don't know what you're asking me because you never ask me, you just do, Loz.
Anyway, we want to have a look at how it can disguise itself as burnout, because I know people that have taken the burnout self-assessment thinking that they are typically what we call burnout, but they're actually struggling with bore-out.
I can 100% see that. I've been bored out of my head in my previous jobs.
Yeah.
When I was in the prison service, literally, if I weren't training in the gym with the prisoners, it was so boring.
Yeah.
Literally marking prisoners into the gym, sitting there. And it was quite stressful getting bored because the days would just go on for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours when you didn't have that stimulation, you didn't have that challenge that you're after being a person like ourselves.
I had a phone call with somebody just recently. So just for reference and, context here, I speak to a lot of business owners via LinkedIn, and then we get chatting and we end up having a call.
You love a conversation.
I love to have a little call with people. And it was really interesting because this person owns her own business and she loves what she does. She's very passionate about what she does, but she just felt that there was something missing. And so the only way that we obviously know how to kind of go through things as business owners a lot of time is just work more, work more, work more. But when, we kind of dug down to it and we spoke about Boreout and the fact that in actual fact, although she's got lots of clients, although she's doing fantastic, her work just doesn't fill her up anymore. She almost feels like, and how do I put this without it sounding horrible? I'm not sure I can really, and there's no disrespect.
Try your best then, Loz.
I mean, you know that I'm quite direct. It's almost like some of the tasks seemed beneath her. And she was then thinking, I'll just keep working. I'll just keep doing more and more. And you start to end up feeling, sort of falling out of love with your business.
It's more about quantity than quality, isn't it?
Yeah.
She was doing more of the mundane stuff and it wasn't fulfilling hers. There wasn't that challenge because I don't know about you, Loz, but when you have a challenge to do and you get your teeth into that bit of work, it's really fulfilling when you're doing it. And when you get to the end of it, it's like, yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
But if you're doing like, I don't know, the accounts at the end of the day of every single day, it's the same and they get the same takings coming through the door. It's just another same old day, isn't it?
And we've even, had clients that we work with that have been in job roles before and they have been pretty much overqualified for that job role. And they're, sort of giving so much to that job and their managers are saying to them, yeah, I mean, it's okay, but it's not really what we wanted. And so then they believe, oh my gosh, I've got to work harder. And then they're just frustrated and, not really feeling fulfilled within the role that they're doing. And so again, that can then lead to some of the symptoms of burnout that we talk about a lot, which we'll go into in a bit. We'll talk about the 3 dimensions and how this might be showing up for you.
But before we get started, what is the definition of Boreout? And what is the definition of Rustout? Just so people can have an understanding of what we're talking about.
We got the actual definitions then. So Boreout was coined in 2007, which is not very long ago, really.
It's coming up for 20 or 25 years ago.
Is it?
What do you think? We're 2025 now. 2 years' time, that'd be 20 years.
Okay, that is a while ago then.
We've been married 20 years this year, Loz.
That's true. We have been married 20 years this year.
It's a lifetime.
It's a lifetime. Okay, so coined in 2007, which is a long time ago, by Swiss consultants Peter Werder and Philippe Rothin. And it describes basically chronic understimulation at work or in business. So basically, we're looking at too few meaningful tasks and zero real challenge. So as we say, it's a very mundane, they're very boring. It's kind of just like, ugh, these sorts of things. Then Rustout is all about chronic stagnation. So plenty of tasks, but no new learning or skills or development. So if you think about it like this, Boreout is you're just bored with what you're doing and you're just doing so many mundane tasks. Rustout, I very much see, you think about a pipe and how it rusts, it corrodes, it's not going anywhere, it's not learning any new skills. That's how I kind of see it in my head.
I love what goes on in your head.
What's that?
I would love to be in your head. No, actually, I wouldn't. In one day. How you visualise things is quite funny.
I don't think you would like to be in my head.
No. A pipe rusting.
Yeah.
I would say more like suspension on a car. If it's not used, it rusts and seizes up. It hasn't got any other different challenges. But I definitely...
Okay, that is, I will give you that. That is quite good.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. But as human beings, I think we've got an internal desire to learn. But there's that paradox as well. We want an easy life. We want that easy job where we just turn up and we get paid for whatever we're doing. But then if we have too much of that, that's going to become boring if we're not doing anything, isn't it? And if we have too much learning, then we tend to get burnt out. So we're about finding this happy medium, this balance where we're learning enough to keep us stimulated and focused, but not over demanding with our work to get us to burnout, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it can be really described quite well with something called the Bell's curve.
Yeah.
And I know that that's something that we've talked about in other workshops and everything.
I think the Bell's curve is very, very interesting, especially when we look at stress and when we look at stimulus. So if we've got a X and a Y axis and you've got this bell that comes all the way up and all the way down, and it's about finding that happy medium where you are. So if you are understimulated, understressed, sort of you're a bit at the beginning here, then your productivity and your work rate and your skill sets are not going to grow and you're not going to be productive.
Yeah.
But as we increase our skills and increases our stress levels, we're going to come up the bell curve to the top bit is where we are most productive, where our business is going to grow. We're going to feel like we are achieving, we're stimulated just enough. But if we start to get too stimulated, too stressed, and we start going over the top of that bell curve, our productivity comes down, it starts deteriorating as well. So either side of that bell curve is sort of not the places we want to be. Yeah. We want to be at the top there where we've got enough stimulant to push us forwards, to grow the business, to grow our personal development as well, but not overstimulate where it falls off the other side.
I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think that Rustout and Boreout, if you think about somebody that's just started their business, like a founder, everything's really exciting, everything's going really great. Do you think there's a certain time period where people start to then go into Boreout or Rustout?
I think so. I don't know about time period because every business is different and everybody's different. I think it's when you get your systems and processes nailed and you sit back and you go, everything's working. But then you get stagnation. Yeah. With business and with personal development or whatever it is, you've got to keep pushing the envelope a little bit to adapt, to change, because the world is always changing. You've got to, what's the next best thing? What's the different thing? And like AI is coming into play now. So we've got to look at how do we work with AI? Because if you don't work with AI, everybody else is going to go. So you've got to keep developing the business, keep developing strategies, keep giving good content to your clients.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you've got to find that happy medium there.
I think I've definitely fallen into this trap before now. I mean, we've been in business for 12 years, right?
Yeah.
And there have been points where everything's just been going quite smoothly and the business is running and there's nothing kind of new happening. And I almost feel like the entrepreneurial kind of spirit, that A-type kind of person can fall into this trap very quickly.
Definitely.
And, oh, go on, what are you going to say?
I noticed it in our business. We're like, everything's going smoothly. Clients are flowing through the door. We're getting good results from them. And we're getting into the little groove. And then you throw us, let's write a children's book. I'm like, what? Where did that come from? Let's do this adult book for Burnout, as you can see, this one here. And there's always a spanner. You find it very hard to keep things at an even. Oh, let's do podcasts now. Let's do vlogs. Let's do a YouTube channel. Let's do this. I'm like, Loz.
See, this is where I think that I'm a type A kind of person. Type A kind of person is, an overachiever. It's someone who strives in life, that kind of thing. And I think you're a type B kind of person who's quite relaxed and basically doesn't want to do anything.
I love doing new things.
Yeah.
But I haven't got the entrepreneurial head where it goes, let's create something new. Let's create something new. Let's do this new. I've just got into the groove of doing this.
But I think you are a bit of an entrepreneur because you used to sell sausage sandwiches when you were younger, didn't you?
That was my first business, that was.
What was it?
Mum would make me sausage sandwiches to take to school and I'd sell them. Do you know why I'd sell them? So I could go racing. So I could buy new tyres for my motorbike, handlebars, because I got fed up with my dad saying, they're all right, you can race them. My handlebars were like 90-degree angle. Yeah, you'll be all right. So I had to find a way to buy new handlebars for my bike.
Anyway, we digress.
How does entrepreneurial spirit come through? It's forced, isn't it? You're either forced to grow or you're forced to stay still.
Yeah.
So let's get back to Boreout and Rustout.
Definitely. Okay, so let's have a look then at some of the symptoms then, because we always talk about the 3 dimensions of burnout. You've got mental, you've got physical, and you've got emotional. And when it comes to Boreout and Rustout, you are going to experience some of the symptoms in terms of natural burnout. However, the route to solving Boreout and the route to solving Rustout is not necessarily the same. I know when we've spoken to people, it's more about, yes, calming and controlling the autonomic nervous system because we're probably in a stress state where we're overworking, trying to think that is the thing that solves it. But we need to actually take a different approach to this. And after we've gone through these symptoms, we'll then start talking about what are the things that you can do that are different from what we would normally do with burnout and everything. Regular burnout that we talk about. Yeah. Okay. So the way that this can happen is that when you are mentally burnt out, you have this consistent cynicism around things. And with Boreout and Rustout, you might have that about you, and you have that negative self-talk that I can't do this, because the brain craves this kind of novelty. And when you're not doing that novelty thing, that new thing, you might then start to think, well, I'm rubbish at this. I can't do this. And that can be where we can start to think, okay, I'm in some sort of burnout because I'm in these kind of negative thought patterns. And, this might happen if you think about, I don't know, a copywriter who has done all of her kind of edits and everything. And now it's kind of just like the mundane sort of little things. But she has this idea of, I'd like to start this new thing, but she's torn because she's got to do these kind of, this mundane stuff. And then we start thinking, well, I can't do that thing, because we get stuck in this kind of negative cycle of the kind of boring tasks that we just kind of simply have to do. So that's when we can start to get that negative self-chatter in there.
So then we go on to the physical but bore out, rust out. And the body, I think the body is such a fascinating thing because it starts telling you. The body's always talking to you, isn't it? So if we are feeling bore out or we're feeling rust out, your body is going to start telling you something's not quite right. So you're going to get aches and pains and stiffness, and you're going to wake up feeling a bit lethargic, no energy to actually carry out those tasks. And the more you sit with that bore out, the more tired you're going to get. I don't know about you, if you ever done a receptionist job before, Loz? I know you've done like thousands of jobs, but have you done a reception?
So many jobs. I have done a receptionist job before, yes.
And you're sitting there and you're not doing any work. Nobody's coming through. You've got nothing on. It's just tiring sat there doing nothing, isn't it?
Do you know what? It really actually is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
no
is.
stimulation. So your body's saying, I need to get up, I need to move, I need to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it, you're going to feel just like so lethargic.
Yeah. And the last one is emotional. And for me, when I've spoken to the people struggling with bore out and rust out, this is the biggest one.
Mm-hmm.
This is absolutely the biggest one, because you start saying to yourself, I should be doing more.
You start shooting all over the place.
Yeah, or I'm made for more than this. But you start to have this belief that you can't do it, right? And it's where we get torn. And I often see this in businesses that have just got stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
I often see this in people who their business is going great, but their heart just isn't in it anymore. And they just aren't connected. And so that's when it takes a new step, a new approach. I see this in people who are working a corporate role, who are overqualified, who are giving so much, but their bosses are saying to them, actually, yeah, that's great, but it's not what we need. This, I personally believe, bore out and rust out really affects you emotionally in terms of your self-esteem and your self-worth.
But not just business owners, founders, entrepreneurs. What about the housewife? What about the house husband who spends their time at home? The partner's out doing all the work and earning all the money.
Yeah.
And the housewife, the house husband, whoever it is sat at home looking after the kids doing that job.
Yeah.
And so that's where their emotional boundaries are going to be sort of playing havoc, shall we say, because they haven't got that stimulus.
And this is, again, where we can go down the I don't care about anything route. Because it really just drags you down and you start to question. And then, of course, you don't learn new skills. You don't start developing yourself. And that then keeps you in that low level.
It's that vicious circle. I haven't got the energy. I'm always tired. So why would I want to expel more energy to learn a new skill, which is going to take energy?
Yeah.
And then you like vicious circle, vicious circle.
And what you've got to remember as well is we're talking about the A-type kind of person, the overachiever, the perfectionist, the one that has, yes, I know, the one that has always been praised for the amount of jobs that they do. So
you must have got so many praise, because when I first started dating you, within the first year, you had about 20 jobs.
I have had.
You had loads of jobs.
Yeah, I've had a lot of jobs. And, definitely for someone who says, my value equals my achievements, right? If you are the sort of person that says what I do and my value in life equals the achievements I'm doing, if you're doing the normal but mundane stuff and you're not developing yourself, you're not learning new skills, then you're very quickly going to fall into this bore out and rust out and get stuck in that kind of spinning your wheels trap, aren't you?
100%.
And I've written down here a really, really powerful sentence here that I kind of wanted to really touch on. Your internal narrative that you'll be speaking to yourself flips from I'm powerful when I deliver to I'm powerless because there's nothing to deliver. Right? You're often left sat
I was just
there.
trying to see where you wrote.
Oh, you see where I wrote it?
I don't know where you've written that.
Yeah. So very much, it's about bore out, I feel worthless, right? And rust out, you feel like you're treading water.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that we said about it takes a different approach to dealing with Boreout and Rustout vs Burnout.
Yeah.
I'd like to count the amount of times we said Boreout in this podcast. If anyone wants to go back over it and count, let us know. You will get nothing other than our adoration. And thanks, because you've watched it a few times. Boosted the numbers. The one thing we need to do here is we have to really get in contact with what is it you want to create? Because that's the thing that's missing. And I know for the people, I'm thinking of 3 people straight away that we have worked with, where we have asked them, what is it you want to create? They've come to us. They've said, especially one person I know I'm thinking of who's absolutely freaking awesome.
And I'm just trying to think of it.
And they come to us and they're already doing a great job. They're already earning money for the month, but they just didn't feel emotionally attached to their purpose in life. And hence, Boreout, Rustout was there. So we had to ask them, what is it you want to create? What is it you want to birth into the world? What is your calling?
That's a big question, though, because 99% of us know what we don't want in this world. We spend a lot of our time focusing on what we don't want. I don't want to feel this. I don't want this in my life. But when we actually ask that question of what do you actually want to create and what do you want to birth into this world? Oh, I don't know.
And of course, that can be then difficult. So what we have to do is we have to drill it down a little bit deeper with these guys. So especially for one of our clients, we would say to them, what kind of conversations do you want to be having? Who do you want to be hanging about with? What do you want to be reading about every day, right? What kind of clothes do you want to be wearing every day? Because it could be that you step into a different identity with different clothes. Like us with Wonder Woman and Superman, we step into a different identity, right?
Cowboys.
To avoid that.
Cowboys. Cowboys and cowgirls.
And so if you can't think about what it is you want to create, start thinking about the kind of typical day that you would love to have. So that's one of the big things that you can do.
Design your day.
Immediately to get out of Rustout and Boreout.
Yeah.
Immediately.
And it gives you that focus, doesn't it? How does my day want to look? And play with it. Play with it like a kid would do and design it with no obstacles, no barriers. If nothing was an obstacle in the way, what would that day look like?
Yeah. The next one is to have what we call a boredom inventory. So this is to write down all of the tasks that you might find boring. And one of them could be having calls with people. I don't know, if you're hooking up on LinkedIn, having calls with people, maybe that you feel you just have to do it. Do you
having a meeting with your wife.
So you always yawn. I'm telling you this. Whenever I go, right, we need to have a meeting, he always sits there and starts yawning. I'm like, is this boring to you, Barry?
Boreout.
So if you're having endless calls and you're starting to feel a bit, bored of it, ask yourself, could I upskill this? So, for example, could you start to work on your public speaking skills when you're having a conversation with somebody?
Could do. Rather than sitting down having that conversation, walk around having that conversation.
Yeah. Maybe if you're doing monthly charts on Excel, you might want to upgrade your Excel skills, just to make that a little bit more exciting so we don't end up, kind of getting bored with these tasks.
Is there a level
you can do?
Is there a level of Excel that is just, there's always another level you can do of Excel?
Trust me.
It goes so far, doesn't it?
You've got Excel wizards and masters out there. I mean, I know our accountant, Sally. She'll say, oh, Lozzie, do this, do this, do this. And I'll go, oh, I didn't know Excel could do that. And I've learned something new. And all of a sudden, my accounting has turned into the most amazing, magical experience
Do you know
ever.
how far my Excel skill go? Top left-hand corner of the boxes. You click on that, highlights the whole lot.
Wow.
Did you know that?
But you don't do anything in Excel, Barry.
That's why that's all I know.
And the next one is a skill audit and a kind of like a learning map. So write down the skills that you already have and then write down the skills that you want to learn. And it could even be something as simple as a new language. I started to learn.
What? Whoa. Something as simple as learning a new language.
Yeah, we've got things like Duolingo.
I've tried that.
Yeah, and?
I can't learn me learning a new language. I was training people. I was counting everything up to 10. Spanish, French, Italian. Italian's easy to put an O at the end of it. So,
do you really?
Yeah, Italian O.
Okay, I'm sorry if we've offended any Italians.
Spaghetti-o, pasta-o, Numero. It's just, I don't know, it's easy.
Well, I actually decided to learn Icelandic in the
How's that going on?
I can tell you.
Yes, it's just as easy as learning
I
a
can
language.
tell you that the word for egg is ech.
See?
Ech.
Ech. And if you wanted to say that in Italian, it's ego.
So, yeah, learning a new skill. It's like, again, it's something to start your morning with, isn't it? Maybe, you know, or crocheting. Do you know what? I'm going to say that in the wintertime, I want to start crocheting or knitting.
I want to get another guitar. Play the guitar.
Are you serious?
On banjo. Banjo might be quite good.
No, I will hit you around the head with it.
Okay.
You have the didgeridoo.
I have 3 didgeridoos.
If you are, again, A-type person, overachiever, you always want to be learning something. So don't just think this has to be to do with your business. You could just learn, like...
I think it's really important that you learn some new skills in the business so you can grow your business, but also learn a new skill outside the business for your personal life so you can grow your personal life then. When you go to a party or go to some meetings, or especially network meetings, people don't want to hear about your business. They want to hear about you. Who are you? Yeah. So if you can learn a new skill in your personal life, you're going to sound more interested and people will remember you much better. You can play, I'm the person that plays the banjo. Man, how cool would that be?
Our friend Tim Box, who runs, he's a control practitioner. He has, you know, everything to do with
in the band
anxiety.
as well.
He has been in the band.
That's a personal joke.
He's fantastic. You must check out his TED Talk. I remember when he was learning how to juggle.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
And then you got some juggling balls and it lasted 5 minutes.
I kept dropping them.
So again, just learning new skills. Alrighty, so let's start to wrap all of this up then, because we've got some reflection questions for you.
Fire them away, Lozzie.
And then we've got the Q&A, which comes from Jenny from Liverpool today.
Hi, Jenny.
And then we've got a little bit of a call to action at the end for you to be able to actually put this to use. So let's have a look at the reflection questions. Question number 1 is, what's one task this week that felt too easy for you? And how did you make it question your skill or your value? So I'll say that again. What's one task this week that just felt too easy for you? And how did it make you question your skills or your value? Because within that, you can then go, oh, maybe I'll upskill, like learn a bit more about Excel or Word or whatever it is.
And the next question, when was the last time you felt genuinely stretched? And how did that make you feel in your confidence and your motivation?
That's a good question to ask. I like that one. And if you could design one project that reignites your drive, what would it be? And what's the first step you can take today? That's a goal question for someone in Burnout or in Boreout or Rustout, definitely.
Buy a banjo.
The banjo. Can we actually start a crowdfunding for Barry not to buy a banjo?
That'd be so cool, wouldn't it? You love country music.
I do.
I could buy a banjo and be in a...
I'm pulling rank here, no. Right, let's go on to the Q&A segment. We have a question from Jenny in Liverpool.
Go.
And she says, sometimes I feel both bored and burnt out in the same day. Is that possible? And how do I fix 2 problems at once?
I would say let's focus on one problem at a time.
Yep.
And if you think you are burnt out, you're going to be burnt out. But more likely, if you're feeling bored out and you're bored, I'd start with the bored out to start with.
Yeah. Jenny, it's a really great question. I thank you for sending this one in, actually. And the one thing I would say here is look at what's going on in your business.
And your life.
And your life. And ask yourself, am I bored? Do I need a new challenge? And if that's a yes, then that would be where you need to start looking at what is it I truly want to create.
Yeah, because burnout, that's going to kick you in the backside. That your body will start shutting down when you are truly burnt out. So if you are thinking, am I this or am I that? I would go towards the Boreout to start with. As Loz says, start looking at things. Am I bored? Am I not stimulated enough? Am I going through the same thing every day? And am I getting some of them symptoms we spoke about today?
Yeah.
And learn a banjo.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today and being part of this conversation. Thank you, Jenny, for your question. And what I'm going to say is this. If this has sparked something in you and you're thinking, actually, yeah, I am spinning my wheels. I am not utilizing my skills and I am just feeling uninspired. We'd love to hear from you because we would love to be able to help you create the thing that you need to create and get out of Boreout, get out of Rustout. So please drop us an email, lauraash@rocksolidhealth.co.uk, or click the link in the descriptions below and book a call with me and let's have a chat about how you can start creating the business and the life that you want.
So you can also click the link below and you can do the burnout self-assessment. Then you can find out whether you are burnt out, bored out, or rust out. So you can do that as well.
Well then, Baz, wrap it up with your banjo.
Thank you so much again for listening and watching to this episode. Remember, you've got one life, live it, make it count.